Hi, I'm Senator Kemp Hannon. This is a legislative report. Today we wanted to focus on the illness, the disease known as lupus, a very elusive disease in some ways and yet a very painful chronic disease in other ways. It could be life-threatening. It's one that's least known of all the major diseases, but it's more prevalent than MS, sickle cell anemia, cerebral palsy, cystic fibrosis, leukemia. You say, wow, how come I've never heard of it? Well, it's one of these chronic diseases that affects the immune system. There are other diseases that affect the immune system. Lupus is a little bit more, attacking than some of the others, because we were talking before the show began and we talked about people having their internal organs affected. Joining us from Nassau County, Belmore, is the Executive Director of the Long Island Queens affiliate of the Lupus Alliance of America, Joanne Quinn. Joanne, I thank you. And also joining us is a board member, Christine Donato from Massapequa Park, both to tell us a little bit about lupus and then to tell us a little bit about what we should be aware of. And I don't know if my short description has summed it up entirely, but this is more of an elusive disease to diagnose than anything else. Joanne?
Well, the criteria for lupus, to be diagnosed with lupus, I used a 11-point criteria. And it's some general problems that can come one at a time.
This is 11 points out of 15 or something like that?
Well, it's 11. It used to be 15 criteria. They took some away from us. So now we only have 11. But it's very difficult to diagnose because, first of all, it's usually young women. 9 out of 10 people are women in childbearing years, which is like 15 to 40. And you present different ways. We were all young. You know, I was 19 when I was first sick. Christine was 16 or 15.
Well, what are some of these 11?
And when I got sick, I was very tired. The fatigue is something that you can't describe. It's not like fatigue because you went and had a good time. It's fatigue because you got up, because you got out of bed. And a lot of joint pain. And, you know, when you're young, especially if you're in school, they assume the joint pain, and a lot of doctors will tell you, you know, the joint pain is growing pains, which is what Christine got. I got, because I was newly married, that I missed my mother. That's what they told me my joint pains were. And so it's never easy to get diagnosed because you keep on going on. You know, we all look good. We look fine. We look like this in the hospital.
Yeah, there's nothing. You don't have a broken arm. There's no bleeding. There's no Band-Aids. And it's also similar in sometimes to the symptoms other diseases present themselves with.
Things like arthritis.
Arthritis, or now they call it fibromyalgia.
MS. People are diagnosed with MS, which are all autoimmune diseases. The difference with lupus is that it is much more widespread than people believe. There's more than 2 million Americans that have lupus. I mean, we should hear more about it. Primarily, it's a women's disease. In the minority communities, 2 out of 3. It's 2 or 3% more. 2 out of 3 more percent than we have in the Caucasian population. I don't know why it's ignored. We never could figure it out. We try our best, but I think it's because we don't look sick.
Yes, and the next common diagnosis is it must be somehow something with your mind.
Oh, yes.
And isn't that a prevalent type of thing?
Well, you know, unfortunately, it's mostly women, young women. Sometimes it's after a stressful situation. Because lupus is very stress-related. So you have a stressful situation and you go to a doctor because now you have joint pain and you can't sleep and you're in a lot of, you know, you're swelling up. A lot of us have some kidney involvement. A lot of times they'll say, I know, you have problems. It's your finances. It's your marriage. You know, like I said, for me, it was I got newly married. They felt I missed my mother. Christine, they thought she was trying to get out of school.
Because it's of childbearing age, if you think about it, what does that mean? Maybe you're starting college. Maybe you're starting a new career. Maybe you're starting a new family. All of these things could be stresses, and then now you're being dealt with, what's wrong with me? And it's invisible, but you don't look sick. It's an invisible demon.
What age did you start having
I started having symptoms around 13, 14, and again, we did hear it's growing pains. I heard my mom heard, maybe your daughter doesn't want to go to school. And when you're offered to go to Disney World, and I said, I am too tired to go. And I remember saying to my mom, Mom, if the building was on fire, I can't get out. That's tired. That's what I'm talking
And
about.
then you kept on going to doctors.
Doctors.
And what happened? One doctor would say it's one
I had
thing.
one doctor tell me, I went to a lung doctor when my lungs swelled up. I went to a migraine doctor when I had headaches. I had joint pain. I went to a joint doctor. And then finally, I actually sought out the Lupus Alliance. I saw the criteria. Me and my family are the ones who were our own advocates. And we became our own patient empowerment and said, we need to figure out what's wrong. And we saw a rheumatologist who finally gave us the diagnosis.
And the rheumatologist was able to gather these different things
everything together.
And what was his prescription as to what you ought to be doing?
At the time, I was started on low-dose prednisone, which is a common drug for
Still
lupus.
the drug of choice.
Still the drug of choice. And I was also told that at the time, I went to the High School of Performing Arts, and at the time I was told I had to stop dancing. And for me, that was a devastating blow.
Oh, my Lord, to tell you can't pursue the career you wanted to do.
I could not pursue the career I wanted.
Absolutely not. There was not even a chance. Absolutely not.
There wasn't a conversation.
It wasn't like get better and come back. It was,
Right.
You're out.
So I actually had to switch high schools and go to a high school closer to home and a high school that had handicap accessibility, because at the time I was walking with a cane. So at 15 years old, I was told, change your career, change your dreams, change your hopes. Lupus is here.
And walking with a cane when you're a teenager is, of
Did
course,
not
just
make me the most popular girl on the block.
Well, at least you feel that way because you feel everybody's
It's a
looking at you.
devastating time to get that type of a disease that could possibly give you a rash on your face or any other.
And not to
There are
mention
so
the
many-
medication.
Right.
The medications
So many different
cause terrible
symptoms you can
side
have,
effects.
but there's one symptom that you were telling me about before, which is that it can also attack your internal organs.
It's life-threatening.
It's life-threatening. Tell me how that all comes about.
Well, what happens is if the lupus can go unchecked if you don't know you have it, or even if you know you have lupus, sometimes the symptoms are fairly subtle until you get really sick. And if it attacks the organs, it's your own immune system attacking the organs. It destroys the organs.
And you've had yourself, you're telling me you had a couple of hip operations.
I had a hip replacement, a shoulder replacement. I've had pericarditis. I need to have a part operation. I just came out of the hospital. I was doing great. I was really feeling good, and my blood count dropped very low. I was having trouble breathing, and when you get a little older, right away you think it's your heart. Well, it wasn't my heart. My blood count was so low that I wasn't getting enough oxygen.